Okay. Thank you for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to meet so many of our existing learners and prospective learners and new business analysts. For a quick intro, my name is Alan Mishra. I'm one of the principal trainers and business analyst at Adaptive US. And I trust you are able to see my desktop. Is that right? Okay. One request
Yes.
to all of you. Can you please stay mute on your side so that I don't hear the sound? Otherwise, once you have any question to me, you can always unmute yourself and speak. For those of you who don't know me, I am Ellen Mishra. I have been practicing this profession of business analysis for close to 27 years now. In fact, when I started working as a business analyst, the term business analyst itself was not being used. So I was called in my very first job a functional consultant. That was what I was called. And I was doing business analysis as part of my work. I also happened to be the first BA in the world to complete all seven IIBA certifications. So that's a world record that I hold, and nobody can beat it till IIBA comes up with another certification. Thirdly, I have mentored more than 2,200 professionals to become IIBA certified, which I personally believe is also a world record because I am not aware of any other coach or mentor who has so many learners going through the IIBA certifications. So today's webinar is very focused on a particular certification and within that certification, a particular type of question. So we are going to talk about the CBAP certification and a particular type of question, what is called the case-based question. So I was getting a little bit of intro from some of you. I heard there are people from US, of course. There's somebody from UK. Other than these two countries, are there people from other countries? Anybody from a different country other than
Yes.
US and UK?
Yes, I'm from
France?
Estonia.
Estonia? Oh, wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Then the third country, any other country? No, just three countries? It's okay. You do
Ghana.
Ghana, okay, fourth country. Anybody from
Mexico.
Middle East? Mexico? Oh, wow. Okay, so that's number five country. Good. It's a good thing to see so many people from so many parts of the world joining in the webinar. Okay, so I would like to congratulate all of you for taking a time out and listening to us today. And I have one simple philosophy. I always believe people who learn, they lead. People who don't learn, they actually stop growing. So learning is very, very essential to grow, and that's what will keep you young as well. So till the time you are learning something new, you will keep yourself very, very young and dynamic. So do not stop learning, thinking that I have completed this or I have completed that or I've done a graduation, and that makes an end of my learning career. Absolutely not. So what are we going to do in this webinar today? So we are going to talk about this special type of questions, which are called case questions. And these happen to be the toughest questions that you see in the CBAP exam. And of course, we will learn some tricks or tips about how do we attempt these questions properly. We will also practice a couple of mock questions, live questions in the training, and you would be asked to answer them as well, and then what kind of resources we provide for you to get ready for CBAP. And I'll leave about 10 to 15 minutes towards the end of the webinar to kind of get any of your queries answered either on CBAP or on any of the IIBA certification products. I have been teaching this course almost now for 12 to 13 years. So I've been very comfortable with this particular thing. I also have been part of IIBA standards writing team and questions writing team as well. There's also an amazing discount that I will discuss with you at the end of the webinar. So please stay and you can leverage this discount um, if you wish to leverage this discount. So there are a couple of tiny polls that I would like to do for you. So one poll is about one particular simple question, which asks you something like this. you have option to buy a branded phone at USD 900 and another option to buy an unbranded phone at USD 800. So which is the phone that you will buy? So I'll give you about say 30, 45 seconds to think. Okay. Okay. Good. So a couple of you say unbranded. Okay, it's still taking some time, but I got about 25 responses, which I would believe is reasonably good number of references to do some statistical analysis. So I am going to end this poll and I'm going to share the result with all of you. So if you see here, 88% of participants or you folks said that you will buy a branded phone even if it costs you a little bit more. Why? What is the reason that you're going to buy a branded phone? So
Branded
someone,
phones have a reputation.
okay, very good. They have a reputation. What else?
Second-hand value.
What would they have?
I said second-hand value. If I decided to
Okay.
resell,
So if you want to
yeah,
resell, you'll get a
the
better value,
resale
of
value.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
resale value. Very good. Actually, brands always come with some kind of assurance. When I'm buying a Toyota car or say, a Sony music system or whatever product I'm buying, the product itself comes with some kind of a guarantee or assurance to me that I am indeed buying a quality product. Okay. So this is the first poll. And in general, this has been proven for ages that people love buying branded products compared to unbranded products. Okay. So that question is done. Okay, then I go back and I ask you one simple question again, which is um, you yourself as a business analyst, would you consider yourself as a product or you will not consider yourself as a product? Okay, some of you are saying product, some of you are saying not a product. Okay, let's take a look. It's almost kind of coming to an end. Let me see if I get some more responses. That's it. Okay, again, I get about 80% of you saying that we are a product and 20% of you saying we are not a product. Okay, indeed, we are products. So that's why we have a term called job market. We are all in the job market and we want to get the best price for ourselves. And we would look forward to a employer which will pay us well, who will treat us well as well, not only pay and treat well, both are required. So this is what I wanted to tell you. Always branded products get sold at a higher price. And the day you become a CBAP, you become a branded product. Okay. So the moment you are a branded product, you will definitely command a premium in the marketplace. And this is something I'm not saying from one example or five examples. I'm saying this from thousands of examples that I have come across personally with so many of our past students. Many of them have been able to get a salary hike anywhere between 30 to 50%. Sometimes some of them have been able to get a salary hike of 80 to 100% as well. So it actually opens up doors for you when you become a branded business analyst. Good. And those who decide not to get branded, obviously they lose out because it's not a world of or. No, it's not skill or certification. It's both skill and certification. If you keep that in mind, our things become easier. Sometimes you'll hear a noise, certifications are useless, blah, blah, blah. But it is not true. If they have been useless, so many companies wouldn't ask for it and the companies won't pay for it. Remember, market is very, very, what I would say, very, very strict about how it deals with money. It is never going to spend money on something that it does not believe in. So now coming to this particular examination called CBAP. The CBAP has two types of questions in the exam. One type of question we call scenario type question, and one type of question we call it as case question. The scenario questions are short scenarios. typically 3 to 4 sentences long, and you do get 4 choices from which you have to pick one choice. Whereas the case questions are actually long scenario questions. So you actually get about 4 to 6 paragraphs long question, which is quite a lot of reading to do. And since it's a lot of reading to do, you are not asked one question per case, but you are asked 3 to 4 questions per case. So you have to kind of keep the case in mind because you are not going to answer only one question. You are going to answer 3 to 4 questions for the case. And typically, these questions could be text based, like there is a lot of text that you have to read and understand, or they could contain number calculations, which we will see. They could also contain diagrams, and a lot of these diagrams come from this framework called UML, which is Unified Modeling Language. Or they could also come with tabular data. That means there will be some data provided in a table and which you need to kind of exploit to answer your question. Now, obviously, since these are going to be long form questions, it is going to take you significant time to kind of read, understand, and answer. That is why what we say that in the first go, you should avoid attempting these questions because it is going to take or eat out your time available. And remember, CBAP is a time bound test. So you have 3 hours, 30 minutes to complete your test. You are not going to get a whole day or multiple days to do the test. And what we have heard from many of our learners is that these type of questions tend to appear in the beginning of the test. So two things. One, they are hard, they are time consuming, and they are appearing in the beginning. That is why what we advise our learners is that don't start with question number 1, but start with question number 50. So you avoid getting into the trap of these long cases and you dedicate some time for these cases. Not that you will not attempt them, but first try to complete the scenario type questions, which are easier to answer. Then, when you are answering these questions, always remember you will not know answers to all questions. Well, that's very natural. Even if I give the test after teaching this course so many years, I will still fail in some questions. So don't feel bad about it. But it is important for me to attempt all questions. Why? Because there is no negative marking in IIBA exam system. So you don't get penalized for marking a question as wrong. But if you do not attempt the question, you will get 0 credit, because you have not attempted. If you attempt, there are 2 possibilities. One, you are wrong. In that case, you get 0 again. But since there are only 4 choices, A, B, C, D, maybe your luck is on your side and you actually get that question right. And I personally prefer the letter B, kind of to be consistent. And any question which I do not know the answer, I put it as B. And I mark it for review so that if time permits, I will come back and take a look at the question again. So this is a good tip that you can follow while attempting case questions and scenario questions. It applies to both. Then this is what we generally advise. We say in the first 2 hours, attempt all scenario-based questions. Keep 90 minutes to your cases. And however, as many questions you can answer in 90 minutes, it's good because you have already attempted all the scenario questions in the first 2 hours. And be mentally prepared that you are going to spend this 3.5 hours in the exam center or in the online test. You do not get any credit for completing the test beforehand. No, suppose somebody says, oh, I completed the test in 2 hours. Will you get some extra credit for that? No. So use the time judiciously, be mentally prepared that I am going to spend this much time. And obviously, it requires some practice. Many of us would find it a little hard to kind of practice 3.5 hour tests. It's not easy, let me tell you frankly. No. That is why with Adaptive, we actually designed 6 practice simulations, which are 3.5 hour long. And when you practice those many times, in the 7th time, you are going to be better off because you have already practiced it 6 times. And then we generally advise our students or learners not to take a break during the test. Or even if you have to take a break, take it for 1 or 2 minutes. Don't take a long break, because if you take a long break, two possibilities. One, if the break is more than 15 minutes, the exam will get cancelled. So that's a sad thing. Again, replanning, reappearing the test is not a great experience. And if the proctor feels that you have taken inordinately high time, the proctor may reshuffle the questions. So if the questions get reshuffled, again, your mental preparation kind of gets affected. So that's why, uh, if possible, do not take a break during this particular test. Second thing, the test is permitted to be conducted from home, from office, or from test center, but prefer to take it in the test center, because the test center is far more controlled environment compared to home or office. So I'm just giving you an example of a system that we built for our simulation purpose. I'm actually going to show you some cases and questions as well, so don't worry. Okay. Then obviously, as I said, these cases are going to be long, like 1.5 page. How do we create this kind of a content? No. So let me ask this question to some of you. Say 5 years back, think a situation. Was ChatGPT there 5 years back? Was it there?
No.
No. So obviously, how did people write these cases? Because you'd write so many cases, no? For the exam, we have to write so many cases. So what would we do in this case? Brahmaji, Brahmaji is again our current learner, looks like. So what would people do? The question setters.
Use real life cases.
Correct. So what we generally do is we keep some company in mind, saying this is the company that with which I have already worked. No? Say, for example, I worked with Petroleum Development Oman, or I worked with Nordstrom, or I worked with Toshiba Germany. So I would kind of take experiences from them, and I would like to apply the concept into those cases. And a lot of times we also go to company websites, pick up some details about their details, like how they operate, what they do, and we add it on the top of the case. So in the beginning of the case, we are actually writing about the company, not about the problem or situation. So that's why when you are doing this case type questions, it is easier for you to kind of run through the initial part of the case, which could be more like a company information rather than the problem statement that you're trying to resolve. Okay. Then, as I said before, the questions can come from typically three categories. One, they could come with pure text. They could come with numerical questions. And when you come to these numerical questions, there are some formulas that we would like you to be aware of so that you can compute these numbers and answer the case. So what are those formulas that you see? So one of the common formula group would be coming from this particular technique called financial analysis. And what I find is many of us actually come from the software development background. We don't come from the financial background. That's why this looks a little bit unusual to us or not so familiar thing to us. So understand this technique a little bit better. One, anytime a company is planning to build a new system or buy a new system, they would have some amount of cost going into development or procurement. Suppose we buy HubSpot, we have to pay money to HubSpot. Or if we decided to buy some internal resource tool, we have spent time and money in building it. Then often you will also have a cost of transition, which means I was using another system. Now I'm moving to another system, new system. So I need to migrate my data and provide training to end users. So when you combine these two costs, you come up with this thing called cost of change / investment. This is a term that we will remember because this term is going to be used in many formulas. Then we have a term called cost of usage, which is essentially a periodic cost that happens with any solution. It could be your support cost, it could be license cost, but you are going to pay it year on year. And in this particular example, I have taken 5 years with the assumption that the program or solution will last for 5 years. So this part is clear? Okay. And when you add all these costs, you actually come up with a term called total cost of ownership, in abbreviation TCO. In our example, it happens to be 1200K. Then any solution we are building, we will also start calculating something called benefit. These benefits could come from time saving. Right? Like if you automate a process, you may be able to save significant employee time. So that could be considered as a benefit. Or if this feature is going to help you earn more money from your customers, it could add directly to revenue as well. So you compute those benefits and you add them, then you get total benefit. And then there's a term called net benefit, which is total benefit minus total cost. I hope till this point in time, it's easier to understand. Then we have a formula called ROI percentage, which is essentially net benefits into 100 divided by cost of change or investment. So this is a formula that you need to remember. Then there is a formula for payback period, which is essentially the time taken to recover the cost of change. That means every year we are making some benefit, but we are spending part of that benefit in maintaining the solution. So that part you subtract. So whatever is remaining with you, that's what you can call it as recovery amount. So you take the cost of investment divided by recovery amount, then you will get this. All these formulas are available to you on our website itself. So if you just go to Google and search for, so let me share my entire screen so that you can actually see the search that I'm doing on Google as well. So just go to Google and search for BABOK formula book. Okay. If you just do this simple search, it would actually bring up the document that I am talking about. It's called Master BA Formulas, free one. So this is something that you can download from Google itself and keep it as a reference for your formula book, formula handbook. Okay, so any question on this particular slide deck, on this particular technique, because this is a useful technique, which we will actually practice as we go forward. All
Can you
okay?
explain? Can you explain back about the payback period? How do you calculate that?
Okay, see, for payback period, what I would do is I will take, say, annual benefit, okay, minus annual expense. So this is what I will call it as recovery amount. Okay, so this is what I will call it as recovery amount, okay, which is equal to this. This part is okay to understand?
That's fine.
Okay. Then what you do, you take investment amount, divide this by recovery amount. So you'll get a number, maybe 2.5 years, 3 years, like that, you'll get that number. So that's what we will call it as payback. Okay?
Okay. Basically, the investment divided by recovery amount will give us the payback period, right?
Correct. Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. Then I just want to highlight something. Sorry.
Question.
Yeah, go
Could
ahead.
you share that the download again? Didn't get
Not
it.
hearing you very well. Can you please put it in the chat? Because the sound isn't very clear to me, what you're saying.
That'll be perfect.
Put it into the Q&A. I will take it from there. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. One good question. Somebody has asked, can you bring in personal notes with financial analysis formulas to the test room? No, that is not permitted. What you can carry is plain paper. Okay. You can carry plain paper, but you cannot carry notes. Written notes are not permitted in the exam. It's a closed book exam. I wish it becomes an open book, but it is not an open book exam at this time. So these are some simple formulas. Don't worry so much. I think maybe you are hearing it first time. That's why you are getting a little bit troubled. As you practice some questions, it will become very, very easy for you. Okay. And I'm just copying some content from BABOK here itself. And within BABOK, actually, you'll find two definitions of ROI. But I just want to make sure and tell you that the second definition, which is written like a formula, which is likely to be more trusted, is in fact not so correct. What is correct is what is described here. Okay. And this is something we tested in the actual exam as well. So one of my colleagues had written CBAP and she came back and said, Ellen, the first formula seems to be right, not the second formula. Okay. Then you'll also get some very simple calculations with respect to something called a variance calculation, which is essentially a formula which indicates actual value minus planned value into 100 by planned value. So a lot of times we estimate revenue variance or cost variance. So that's what goes into this variance calculation. Then the third formula that I would like to kind of make easy for you to remember is this formula. So it's a sum of a criticality scale into performance rating. And this formula is used in multiple techniques, like in decision analysis, in balance scorecard, in risk analysis. So remember this formula, it's like called a summed weight. Okay, it's not a very complicated formula, but a very useful formula. Many problems that we will see. Okay. So now that I have given you a little bit of a hint about what kind of number questions may come, I'm going to get into our learning portal. And from the learning portal, we will try to do a couple of cases. So I want you to read the case. I know the cases. You folks have to read, and I will ask questions to one or two of you, not all of you. So whoever I ask the question should try to answer the question. Don't worry if you get it wrong. It's just a practice session. As you do more and more practice, you will get better and better in answering questions. Okay, so I'm going to go into our... so this is where we host all our questions, content, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go into... I'll sign in. You can create a free trial account as well here and get access to quite a few questions. So I'm going to log into the student portal, student account. It's like a generic account for me. And I go to this CBAP guided learning. Okay, so I am going to go to say a particular knowledge area, say elicitation and collaboration. I can pick anything, but I'm just I'm thinking that most of these questions could be more text oriented questions. Okay. So I would ask all of you to read this couple of paragraphs. As you kind of read through this set of paragraphs, you tell me, I will scroll down. Okay. It's just like a actual discussion between the business analyst and a stakeholder. Can I scroll down?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
One more thing I would request you to practice is something called silent reading. Because in the exam, if you try to read aloud, the proctor may think that you're trying to communicate something with someone, which is what the proctor doesn't want you to do. So practice silent reading. Okay, so now I give you a little bit more content. Okay, this part is fine.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so let me scroll down, and so this is the discussion is end. So let me ask this question to whomever I have unmuted, Adam. Adam, what would you go, which option would you go for? based on the discussion that has happened, which feature is the most important feature?
The visual dashboard, B.
Correct. It is visual dashboard because you can make up while the discussion happened. The person very clearly said that the visual dashboard is the most important requirement for the system. So in this case, you will see that the same case will continue. It's not going to change, but the question will change. Okay. So this one I would ask to Baker.
It's
Baker,
A, track project progress.
track project progress. Okay, let's see. You are right. Okay, good. So that means you folks are able to read the case properly and you are able to answer the questions based on the content that is given to you. So this is one type of question that you will see. So now let me switch out of this case and go to another type of case, which probably would have some numbers or tables. So let me go to strategy analysis and try some number-based questions. Okay, this seems to be, this is, okay, okay, maybe this is not a bad case to answer. Okay, because it has a payback period calculation, so I can check if you guys got it right or not. Okay, so please read the case quickly. And as I said, the initial part of the case is typically information, so you can read it very, very quickly.
All set.
All done? Okay. So now here are the numbers for you. Okay, so please use the number. And I'm going to ask some questions based on these numbers given to you. You can use pen paper. If you wish to capture the numbers on a paper or you want to capture it on an Excel, you're free to do. There's no problem. Done? Okay. Maybe I'll ask this question to Tracy Jackson. Tracy, would you like to answer this question for me? What would be the payback period for this investment that we are looking at? Okay. Otherwise, somebody can raise hand and I can go to him or her and see who is willing to answer this question.
It is 4 years, Alan.
4 years? Okay. So let me calculate as well. So let me see. Like, what is our initial investment? Our initial investment is 300K. Clear? Okay. This is a little complicated formula. So in the first year, how much are we saving? So 200K we get, but we lose 50K. So how much are we saving in the first year, in the second year?
150.
150. Okay. In the third year, how much are we saving?
250 because it's 50K.
250,
Is
no?
250
So now
per year.
correct. So you start calculating cumulative. Okay, in the second year, we saved 150. In the third year, we saved 250. So by the time we complete third year, how much have we saved?
400.
Yeah.
400. Okay, good. And how much did we initially invest?
300K.
So that means by the time you complete your third year, you have recovered your investment. So the payback period would be 3 years, not 4 years. Did that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Can you exactly explain one more time? I didn't understand the calculation.
Okay, I will copy this question screenshot and maybe I'll take it to the PowerPoint and do it there. So that will be much easier for you to understand. Okay. There are a lot of tables that I have created, don't worry. Okay, so I'm going to keep the question here and we can do it together. So now let's take the first year. First year, there is no benefit. So it's saying the benefit is going to come from second year onwards. So that means I have to insert a text box here. So this is my second year. And in second year, I am getting a benefit of 200K, but I am consuming 50K as maintenance. So I am left with 150K. This part made sense to all of you?
Yeah, so every year I'm
Yes.
paying 50K for maintenance, right?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Then in the third year, if you take third year, now the benefits have become a little bit more because the project has started doing well and you're getting a little bit more benefit in the second year. In the first year, maybe the project was slow, it started, so the benefits aren't that great. So then you get 250K. But then you start calculating something called a cumulative benefit. So what is the cumulative benefit here? How much is the cumulative benefit? Same 150. No, there is nothing before this. Okay.
Yeah.
But here, the cumulative benefits becomes 400K because I already have acquired a benefit of 150K in the previous year. Okay. So here it becomes 400K.
Okay. Okay. Now I understood the point. Now I understood.
Very good. Okay. Thank you. So
The
now
payback
let
period
me.
is confusing because I thought you were looking for profitable year.
No. Payback period means when the initial investment is recovered. That's what we call it as payback period. In fact, we are profitable in the second year itself. Our cost is 250, our revenue is 200. So we have made some profit, but that profit does not cover the initial investment. So you have to keep adding the profits and see when the initial investment is recovered. Okay, maybe one more question. Let's see and check out.
Sorry, I have a quick question.
Sure.
Yeah, the discounting rate provided by, there's something about the discounting rate. Could you just, I know that might not apply,
Yeah,
but it would be
same
useful
thing.
to see how, because I know sometimes they will add some fluff to distract us. So I
Okay.
just wanted to know if it was
True,
fluff,
true,
because I
true.
took it as fluff.
Yeah. So it has nothing to do with the case.
Very good. Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted
Yeah.
you to mention
So,
that.
but
Yeah, thank you.
we kind of give you some information, added information, which might do you kind of think, oh, if the number is there, it must be used. Not necessary. Okay. So when would you use the discounting rate? If you are calculating something called net present value. That time the discounting rate will come into picture. And because NPV formula is very complicated, I can show you the NPV formula. I have kept it here. Okay. So you can imagine the NPV formula. Okay. It is probably looking simple because I have written it in a particular format. It's actually quite complicated to compute NPV because it has a power equation and all that. So mostly in the test, we will not ask you because it's difficult to compute. And in the test, we will typically rely on simple addition, multiplication, division, percentage, those kind of calculations, not getting into power, square root, cube root.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
this is an helpful info to know that when you truly kind of try to compute benefits for a slightly longer project, NPV seems to be a better measure than just net benefit. Because net benefit assumes that the project is of short duration, it does not have inflation, does not have an impact on it, but there could be projects which are much longer duration. No? In that case, you don't want to miss out the role of discount rate. Okay, so let me see if there is one more question we can answer here. This is a good one. Okay, this one let me ask to say Badua. Badua is our student, so let me try with Badua. Badua, would you like to take this question? What would be the realized benefit for the project?
Unfortunately, this will be a difficult one.
Try, no harm.
Not done. I have not done the financial.
Oh, you've not done? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody would like to attempt this question? What would be the realized benefit for this project?
I think it'll be C.
800.
C.
Yeah, more than 800, I'm thinking.
More than 800,000.
We can't say.
Okay, because they're not giving us a time
Oh,
frame
'cause-
too. Yeah, we don't even have a time period
No, no.
within which we're
See,
calculating
this
them.
is realized benefit, the actual benefit. See, all
Oh,
this we are
okay.
doing is estimate. We are kind of guessing numbers in our head or on Excel. In real life, do programs go as per Excel? Never.
No, because we're not even factoring in the softer things like acceptance, just accept
So
the
many,
human factors are not factored
yeah,
in there. Yeah.
so many things. Even the market could change. No, you thought you started a project with a particular intention. Sometimes the market could support it, so you do much better than what you expected to do. Sometimes the market could be very harsh on you. So in that case, you did worse than what you could do. Okay. Since I'm kind of running a little bit short of time, let me do one more question for you guys. Then I will talk a little bit about adaptive. And maybe I'll overshoot the time by 5 minutes, but I would like to keep it as close as possible. Okay, let's try one more question from a diagram perspective. If we can get a diagrammic question, that will be really nice. But I have to search. Okay. Yeah, I got. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, so look at this particular case study and we'll try to answer the question as per the diagram. Now, again, if you read the first two paragraphs, it really doesn't have much to do with the question. It's just that I'm describing a company called AskSoft, just a random company name. Okay, but the second part of the question is important, which is the diagram that is given to you. And if you read this diagram, I will do one thing because this diagram is not so visible here, and I would like to show you on the PowerPoint. So I'll copy the diagram on the left side, and I will copy the questions on the right side. That will make it probably a little bit easier for you to look at the questions and diagrams at the same time. Okay. Hopefully this is visible to all of you. Can you see the diagram and the questions well?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay. So I'm going to kind of put it on slideshow mode. So that will be the best view you can get. Okay, so this one, who would like to attempt? Olu? Okay, yes, Olu. Go ahead.
I think the answer is B. Yeah, B.
B for Bravo.
B Bravo, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think it's D.
D. Okay.
D as in dog.
Yeah, Delta. Yeah. Okay. Anybody
A.
else?
A.
A.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. The correct answer is option A. Okay. When you look at option B, be very careful. The word only is a little bit dangerous here. No. See, look at who can add requirements. The add requirements can be done by requirements engineer. There is a direct connection. And if you understand this concept called specialization, so that means the lead requirements engineer
Is a
also
type
can
of
do the
requirement.
work of,
Yeah. Sorry.
So that the word only is the catch here.
Okay.
So you have to be careful. And then the user cannot log off after logging in. See, the log off is an extension to login. That means once you have logged in, you have an option to log on. So if it would have been can, then
Okay.
it is right, but it is cannot, which is wrong. Now, this particular question, if
Make
you observe, yeah. So who is able to update the requirements? The user, as per this diagram. No, the user
mhm.
has access to view requirements. From here, the user can come to update
Extend
requirements.
relationship. Yeah. Mm.
Correct. But whereas if you look at
Got it.
requirements engineer, the requirements engineer is also a user. So that way, and developer is also a user. So these two roles also can update requirements. Actually, there are many mistakes in this diagram, but that I am not going to discuss it today. I would leave it to your imagination, and you can analyze this diagram and come back and tell me, Ellen, few things were wrong. And I know they're wrong because these are the diagrams that I created about 8, 9 years back. And that time, my understanding of UML was also not that great. But I kept this diagram saying, oh, this can be very helpful during training because asking people to find mistakes is always a good thing to do. Good. So I would stop here in terms of case discussion. A couple of things that I would like to tell you before we wind up for today. As I said, um, I think you guys know a little bit about us, so I'm not going to spend much time. And always remember, get formally trained and certified. That's going to help you, as I said before. There's have no doubt about that. So this is something that we had done with our learners, and we found some great results. And I think some of our learners are here today. Maybe you can connect with them as well. And so how are they finding? Let me take this. Anyone of our existing learners who have completed the course some time back, at least 2, 3 months back? Not that you're part of the current training, like you've done it before. Nobody?
I
All
just
of you.
completed actually on August first week. I completed the course. Just
Very, very,
preparing for that one.
yeah, but it's very recent. So I
Yeah.
wanted, but after the training, how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel much better, worse?
No, Ellen, much better. And when I'm going through the site or listening one more time, that gives me confidence or what are the wrong answers I'm doing or anything, so I
Okay.
can able to correct those things actually. That's really
Okay.
helpful actually.
Yeah. Okay. Jennifer, you raised your hand.
I did. So I'm trying to get the CCBA. I already have the ECBA, and I'm wondering, I when I bought a textbook that I have as a study guide, it actually had both the CBAP and CCBA with this text I have here by Susan Weiss and Terry Wagner. Is it? Do you feel that they are the same if I were to take this course, or no? Would it not prepare?
CCBA has simpler question format, although there is a lot of overlap between CCBA and CBAP. But just with CCBA preparation, you may not be able to do CBAP because 30% is very different. 70% similar, 30% different.
Okay.
So, which means you have to score 70 on 70. That would be hard, no? Getting
Yeah.
getting 70 on 70 would be hard. So that way you need to prepare somewhat more for CBAP. Okay. Okay. Back to my deck because I have few minutes left. Okay. Again, you'll find a lot of career transformation stories. If you want to reach out to these people, you are welcome to reach out to them. Most of them are available on LinkedIn as well. This is what we do as a company. We mostly focus on IIBA certifications. And this is what we have been doing for last 8+ years now. So remember, we have 3 guarantees on all our master classes and ultimate products. You have success guarantee, which gives you 2 free retakes. All our courses are guaranteed to run, and they also come with money back guarantee. And so far, we have about 920 plus CBAPs. I'm hoping sometime in Q1 of 2026, we probably would cross 1,000 CBAPs. This slide I will skip because you know. So these are the mentors that you will see during the program. I am one of the mentors. Victoria happens to be on the board of IIBA. Bindu is the head of IIBA Europe. Laura and Olivia both are chapter leaders. Tom usually doesn't teach the CBAP course. He mostly teaches our CBDA and other non-core courses. But again, he's an amazing trainer with like tons of experience. So many reviews you can read. I'm going to skip. We also have a nice app called Competency Pro. Maybe you can try that to kind of track your competencies over a period of time. And it also comes with a free CDU tracker, which is helpful once you get CBAP certified. Then there are 2 sessions starting on CBAP very, very soon. This Saturday, we have a program starting. And again, on 6th September, we have one more cohort starting. And you can also save a little bit of money on your exam bundle if you are an existing learner with us and you decide to buy the exam bundle. In US, it is $34, but in Canada, it will be about $42 because Canada comes with some taxes on top of what we buy. Because we buy it in US prices, so you also get it at a slightly better price, especially if you are from Canada. Then there's a couple of options you can exploit now. One, we have a product starting at $149, which is the CBAP question bank. So if you're looking at a pure question bank, that's a great product. Or you could also take up the on-demand course, which is at $399, and you can add $150 and take the live classes as well. But that does not come with the guarantees that I said. For the guarantees, you have to join the masterclass or the ultimate program. So here is one offer for you. If you buy the ultimate product, you get ultimate plus plan. So ultimate plus plan will come with your exam voucher and everything. So if the ultimate plan usually does not cover the exam voucher, but for you folks, it will cover the exam voucher as well. And those of you who decide to sign up within one day, you also get access to a very new course that we have introduced called Generative AI for Business Analysts. That's again a very useful course because Gen AI is kind of becoming very, very popular around the world, and it's good to know about generative AI. You can make a note of this coupon code, which you can apply when you buy your Ultimate Plus product. So that will kind of reduce the price from Ultimate Plus to Ultimate. That's about it. I don't have much time to answer your questions, but I'll still take maybe 5 or 6 questions. So please shoot. I have asked you so many questions, so it's your question time. Please raise your hand in case you want to ask any question. I will go ahead and look for people who have raised their hand. Jennifer, okay, go ahead, Jennifer. Not hearing you very well, Jennifer, for some reason. Can you put it in the chat window, please? Download. Okay. Baker has a question. Are we allowed to use calculator? There is a calculator in the exam system. Okay. Someone has asked, will you be sharing the slides? Of course, we will. But your email address should be there in the registration list. Okay. Okay. Yoon has a question. It should also calculate the maintenance cost? No. Because see, the maintenance cost is already getting calculated as part of your annual recovery. No? Okay. So Yoon again has explained. Never mind, I found it. Okay. We already have IIBA premium partnership that gives us credits for CBAP. That's nice to know, Vilna. If you already have partnership with IIBA, you may be able to get a good price from them directly as well. Yoon says, is there a live customer service line? We do have chat option. That's something you can leverage, or you can also call us up. Usually we respond to calls quite quickly, or you can write to cs@adaptiveus.com. Typically, we respond very promptly. Okay, someone has asked what is the cost of Ultimate Plus plan. Let me go and check in the website. That's the best place to go and check. Let me go to courses, CBAP Masterclass, So if you go to prices, pricing, ultimate plus. Yeah. So this is 2599, but you get 550 off. So you get it at 2599 minus 550. So that comes to you at 2049. That's the price that you can pay at this time, till the offer is existing. Okay. One of you have asked, are there certain formulas more likely to be on the exam? There are not many formulas. There's about 20 formulas. So it's very difficult to say some formulas will come, some formulas will not come. Are we allowed to use paper? Yes, you can use paper, pencil, but only 2 sheets of paper. And somebody asked coupon code. It is CBAP 550. That's the code that you can use. Where do you get the cost of various plans? Go to the link I gave you, CBAP training. You will get. Is it possible to get installments? Of course, you can get installments, but I think that's only available for masterclass. I think not for masterclass ultimate, but there is an installment plan also available here. If I go down, you see the installment plans here, you see the installment plans here as well. So on this side, installment plan is there. On this side, installment plan is not there. Okay, hopefully I answered most of the questions that was raised in Q&A. Any last question anybody would like to ask before we wind up for today? All good? Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to meet so many business analysts around the world. That way I feel kind of quite privileged and lucky that I have been able to interact with more than 10,000 business analysts around the world. That's what I do for my living. Thank you so much, folks, and I hope to see some of you in our programs. And trust me, you will not repent that decision. It's going to pay off very, very quickly. And if not, I still wish you good luck with your CBAP preparation, and I hope to see you certified as a CBAP. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.